It's time to talk some conference futures, and we're going to start with the Ohio Valley Conference. Mike McClure, Tim Doyle, we've got the odds that we're about to put up right here. Ohio Valley Conference Tournament odds. We got Morehead State at -110, and then, of course, it's going to be plus money the rest of the way. Mike McClure, I'm starting with you. Do you like any futures in this market?
I'm looking at Little Rock here. I think their value is pretty firmly right there. When you look at Morehead State, that's the team you've likely heard of the most. They've made decent runs. They're definitely the team that should be favored here. But when I look at what Little Rock's able to do, a lot of positive momentum for them this time of the year. They've taken care of business in a lot of the games that they should. So I think it's coming down between these two teams here. And I think the price point gives you a lot more value because Morehead is a little bit of a team that carries some name value, frankly, at this point in the season.
All right. I think we're on the road here in Little Rock. Hashtag Colin Ray from the 90s. Tim Doyle, where are you at in the OVC?
Yeah, I like UT Martin. They're a team that could certainly put up a ton of points. They beat Morehead State 88-82 on their home floor. And raise your hand if you've been to any one of these schools. I have. Used to be the voice of the Ohio Valley tournament.
Oh.
When they had Belmont, when they had Murray State. But UT Martin could certainly score in bunches, several games this year. I love Sears and Cruz. I think both those guys go out and get you 20 each and every night. And I'm getting 4-1 value. The coach of Morehead State, Preston Spradlin, is due for a big job. So this is an important tournament for him if you want to roll with him. A famous Morehead State alum. The great quarterback Phil Simms from the New York Giants. So, yes, I know way too much about this conference. If we watch anything so far, the Atlantic Sun, the rest of the college basketball, expect the unexpected, as these things, I believe, conference tournaments are the hardest thing to handicap in all of sports.
Larry Bremner gets the reference. Colin Ray, that's my story. Great song, mid-90s country. I absolutely love it. All right, we're going to go to the Northeast Conference tournament odds. The NEC, Mike, I'm starting with you. We lead with Merrimack at +120, then Central Connecticut, and then the odds get long from there. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, the odds get long from there, and you could take what Tim just said. Basically, a lot of unpredictable things can happen in these smaller conference tournaments for sure. I think there's a little value on Sacred Heart +750 here. When you look at what they've done in conference play, they've lost both times to Central Connecticut, but were very competitive in both of those games. They got blown out by Merrimack in the first matchup. However, they just played them on Saturday, were able to have a nice, impressive win. They won a lot of games they were supposed to down the stretch. And when you look at the favorite here, Merrimack, this team does not play well offensively. They're decent on the defensive end, but nothing special in terms of shooting, nothing special at the free throw line. I think this value is on Sacred Heart here, as I think it should be closer to the +400 range, and Merrimack and Central Connecticut should both be around +200.
All right, Tim Doyle, birthday boy Big Cheesy, says he likes Central Connecticut at +160. What do you like?
Yeah, Central Connecticut played Sacred Heart twice, beat them by 7 on their home floor, and then only beat them by 1 in a game that was in Fairfield. I know a lot about Sacred Heart. My middle brother, Joe Doyle, 1,262 points he scored there at Sacred Heart. How do I know that, Sia? Because I have 2 brothers, and he's the only one that scored over 1,000 points in college. And now, kind of a caveat, at the time they were Division II, and now they're Division I. So he thinks that his points have been grandfathered into Division I points, which always becomes an argument at the holiday season when he takes out his ball to show everybody he's the only one that scored 1,000 points at the dinner table. They do have great value. I think McClure is spot on. I like Central Connecticut. They've been there before. They have the experience. I think this is, probably a 3-horse race. I watched some of this conference. We've seen FDU obviously have success when Tobin was there. Great Long Island teams, Charles Jones and stuff. But I think coin flip, but a 3-way coin flip between Merrimack, Central Connecticut, and Sacred Heart. So why not take the value, as well as with my heart, Sacred Heart, the Pioneers.
Tim, we need to have a sit down one day, and it's not going to be picks related, but it'll be live on a show where we just talk about you and your family, because there's such a ripple effect, not your extended family as well. There's some big timers in there. We got to talk about it. I'm not going to just accept these name drops piecemeal. We got to have a show and condense it all into one show. By the way, Prop Stars dropping A ton of knowledge and picks in the chat. This chat, I just don't know a chat that can rival it. It is so on point, especially today. Thank you, everybody, for that. Big South tournament odds. This is the last one we're going to cover. We've got High Point at -110. UNC Asheville. I have a lot of people this year talking about UNC Asheville. They're +250. And then, again, we have a drop-off, kind of like that Sacred Heart thing where we go to +700. All right, Mike McClure, Big South tournament odds. Who do you like?
I like the chalk in this one, Sia. I like High Point -110. This team is legit offensively. Their biggest skill set, frankly, also is getting to the foul line. One of the best teams in all of college basketball. A lot of it is the product of the competition that they play against, for sure. But they're just a great offensive team. One of the best free throw shooting teams in college basketball as well. Absolutely critical to shoot free throws well in neutral site environments and things like this when you get to conference tournaments. So I like the chalk here with High Point. I make them closer to -170 as a favorite here. Pretty overwhelming favorite.
All right, Tim Doyle, what do you like? Is it High Point as well?
I think High Point's the best team. They have 4 players averaging double figures, but last time they matched up with UNC Asheville on February 7th, UNC Asheville got the better of them at home. So I'm just going to take the plus odds here. I do believe High Point's the best team, but I'm getting +250. I'll take the 250.